Venim. Nu? Da. Dar cred că am fost eu. Sau n-am fost. Stânga. Hã? Ce joc?
Avea dita mai joc.
N-am văzut. Nu. Pictos. Cum la dreapta sau cum? Dreapta aici? Aici. De unde nu se știe? Cum e la baie? Aici în dreapta.
A light reservation is strongly recommended, and we cannot guarantee storage without one. First class is at the middle and rear of the train.
Vă paraș.
Da, vrei? Hai să mergem spre. Aici doar mănânci.
10 pounds. Mănânci burgeri.
Deci, pe canalul ăsta drept înainte de să mergem.
Până unde?
Până la capătul lui.
Și unde mă zici de end of the world?
Uite, la
Hai să mergi. Hai mă, că uite ce frumos, hai. Da. Present us.
What?
Present us. What is this? What is this?
Păi n-ai citești toate.
Grand Venice Canal. Little Venice Canal.
Dar nu se numește așa.
Da cum? Dar și asta e murdar. Bine, nu se compară cu ăla de la Parcul Tăbăcărie, dar oricum. A ceva făcut. Cât mai are?
I'm not trying to be like
Grand Duchess. Duchess. Grand Duchess.
49 minutes लगेंगे यहाँ
Ce putem să mă gândesc? Aici e mai ieftin ca acolo. Știi? Și e bine că bate bine. Da, știu, ăștia lucresc aici. Da, e mizeria să vezi.
What I say.
You got me my first
Yeah.
Ăștia nu prea fac curățenie pe aici. Bușan. Bușan. Yeah, I see, but... Oh, shit.
Ne.
Yeah, they went to Spain, they lived there for a year.
So she applied for
Yeah, dear.
would be able to grab it. South and North America, yes. In Brazil, if we trust us, they can more than OMG.
OMG, mate. Mhm. Yeah. Ajá. Ocho, viste.
Es que al principio yo hasta me reía, ¿no?
Ai văzut cum e așa de frumos sus. Bine, dacă s-au umplut alea. Ce miroși? Păi, de ce faci?
Mai pleca la baie cu noapte, nu niște bărbați în zonă.
Foarte bine. Așa. Foarte frumos. Și ce dacă? Păi și ce dacă dau? Foarte bine.
It's cold.
Is that a price? Okay, no problem. We can switch places, no problem. It's alright with me. Aveți accent african? Puneți la aici?
Sorry?
Puneți aici? Hai să fie?
Nu era în mijloc, erau alți.
Where to now?
O pot să fac și chiar
Jubilo.
de restaurant.
E frumos e. Da, dar e frumos aici. Nu știu, în partea aia nu știu cum mai poți să mergi, nu știu. Hai să ne întoarcem.
Sharad Dushkumar. Okay, so Sharad Dushkumar, আমি চাই না এটা কইতা।
Păi nu văd, nu știu. Vrei să mergem pe acolo? Nu știu. Cred că e un spațiu. Da. Dar nici aici nu știu că e. Cum am uitat acum. Că până la urmă puteți să mergem pe aici. Ia-ți, da, vedeți. Hai, ia-ți, eu mă duc pe aici.
Yeah, I remember Kev was saying that was a whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm sure we can.
Opinions can become such a like.
Era înăuntru. Ai văzut? Ai văzut? Pe aici nu merge să iei ăla, Oxford. Oxfordul.
Just the last one.
Nu pe aici?
E bine.
Pe aici? Da, ai scos-o pe acolo, trebuia să scot. Nu trebuie să o luăm încolo. Încolo trebuie să o luăm. Pe unde am luat acum, dar poate mai am ieșit noi bine. Poate mai ieși altă ieșire. Da, nu te mai grăbi. Așa cum era, n-am văzut, frate, nicăieri. Da, văd. Și nu are și Oxford pe aici. Uite în fața acolo. Ieșire.
Okay, well, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome on the London roads for our journey this evening downstream to Butler's Walk Pier, or Tower Bridge Tower of London, and then on to the Royal Borough of Greenwich. We may have to make a couple of stops on our journey downstream today. We may have a stop at Embankment here. We may have a stop at Festival here as well. That's the two piers. They're just down through the first bridge on our journey. Now, there is a licensed bar downstairs at the back of the lower saloon, serving teas, coffees, alcoholic beverages, soft drinks, a light bar snacks. Bar is situated, as we said, down at the back of the lower saloon, and the toilets on the vessel are situated opposite the bar. So I know it's a very hot day, so what we'll try and do is get the boat moving, try and get a bit of air flowing over the boat so it doesn't cool everyone down. But do that, make sure you drink plenty of water today, folks, especially being out in the sun on these steel decks. It does get very, very, very hot on these boats, so do bear that one in mind. Now, as we journey downstream today, we do pass some places of interest on and around the banks of the River Thames. What we can do for you folks is point some of these places of interest out by giving you a commentary. Now, I would just like to say that we are not professional tour guides on these boats. We're only members of the crew employed to take you from A to B safely. So we can find out a few places of interest, folks, but it does only come in one language, I'm afraid to say, and that is a sort of English. If I could speak many different languages, I very much doubt I would be doing this job. So would you like me to point out a few places of interest, folks? A show of hands? A couple of us? Okay. Well, we'll start off on the right-hand side. The building there is the old County Hall. Now, County Hall was the home of the Greater London Council, the GLC, until the old milk snatcher, Maggie Thatcher, ended the Greater London Council back in 1988. The building was then bought by a Japanese consortium, turned into a hotel, the Shreks Adventure, the London Dungeon, and the London Aquarium. That's all over there on the right-hand side. Coming back over to, staying on the right-hand side, we have the London Eye. Now, the London Eye has recently celebrated its 25th birthday. When you consider the London Eye was placed here as a temporary installation, that's quite an amazing feat. Now, when the London Eye was first opened, it would cost you between £5 and £8 a ticket. Today, it will cost you between £40 and £45 a ticket. They are seriously reconsidering renaming the London Eye the Wheel of Fortune, because it is making them an absolute fortune. Now, anyone who fancies a light refreshment this afternoon, there's a lovely pub on the left-hand side called the Tatterfield Castle. She used to be a car ferry on the River Humber, brought to London to be an art gallery, but I think we very well as an art gallery, later being turned into a floating pub. And when the sun does come out in London, that pub does get very, very busy. Now, this next bridge here is Charing Cross Railway Bridge. Charing Cross Railway Bridge incorporates the Golden Jubilee walkways, the two walkways you can see on the side of the bridge. And this is also the only point on our journey today where we go beneath a rail system. We're also going to pass over the top of one as well. We're going to pass over the top of the underground system that runs beneath the river at this point. Now, as we pass down through the bridge, we do have to turn the vessel around and make a stop here at Embankment Pier. So we've got a brief stop at Embankment Pier, folks, just to maybe pick up some passengers, drop a couple of crew members off, and then we'll be on our journey downstream. Now, as we're about to turn the vessel around, if you take a look on the right-hand side, you'll see Royal Festival Hall. Royal Festival Hall was opened in 1951 for the Festival of Great Britain. It is the last remaining building from that festival, and it is said to be one of our finest concert halls in this country. Many famous artists have all performed inside the Royal Festival Hall. Now, you'll see the area to the right-hand side is known as the South Bank Centre, and the South Bank Centre is the arts and entertainment side of London. So there's some really good street entertainment and street food markets all on the right-hand side, the South Bank Centre. Now, as we turn the vessel around, the reason we turn the vessel around is the tide at the moment is ebbing out to the North Sea, so the tide is ebbing out, it's going in the direction we are travelling. So we turn the vessel around into the flow of the water to give the vessel much more control and to help it slow down and stop much easier. So that's why you always turn the bow of the vessel into the flow of the tide. Now, to the right hand side, you'll see a stone column on the embankment wall, and this stone column is Cleopatra's Needle. Cleopatra's Needle is older than London itself. It's over 3,500 years old. It was given to this country, some people say taken, but that's a different argument, given to this country by a grateful Egyptian government in honour of Admiral Lord Nelson's victory over the French at the Battle of the River Nile. There is a mistake on the right-hand side with the obelisk. It's not so much with the obelisk itself. The two sphinxes, the cat-like creatures at the bottom, are actually facing the wrong way round. Now, they are guardians. They should be guarding the obelisk, not sitting there admiring it, facing at it and looking at it. they should be facing the other way and garden. So when we was told of the mistake, the concrete had set, and we was told to leave it and hoped that no one would notice what we got wrong. So we've noticed, and we'd like to tell everybody of that mistake. So just bear with me for a couple of moments, folks. We'll just pick up these couple of safety announcements. It is just to inform you the vessel you're travelling on board is licensed by the Maritime Coast Guard Agency, and we do carry all up-to-date life-saving equipment consisting of life jackets, life rafts, heli buoys, float-free equipment and emergency exits. Now all of this equipment is clearly marked around the vessel with a green and cream coloured sticker. We are in full radio contact with all emergency services, and in the unlikely event of an emergency occurring, you will be asked to listen to all announcements made by a member of crew over the public address system. But don't panic, folks, it's very unlikely that we're going to have 2 accidents in one day. Just seeing who's listening. Now there is a licensed bar downstairs serving teas, coffees, alcoholic beverages, soft drinks, like bar snacks. The bar is situated downstairs at the back of the lower saloon. Toilets on the vessel, downstairs opposite the bar, at the back of the lower saloon. So we was pointing out a few places of interest on our journey downstream. We will continue to do so, but at the same time, folks, we'll try and keep the boat moving along here to stop everyone overheating so much. Try and get a nice breeze blowing over the vessel. Now, if you take a look to the left-hand side, you'll see a building with a green roof and a single flagstaff. Now that is the riverside entrance to the Savoy Hotel, one of London's cheaper bed and breakfasts. The cheapest room in the Savoy Hotel is about £1,300 a night. The most expensive room in the Savoy Hotel is about £30,000 a night, the Royal Suite. That's the double windows you can see beneath the flagpole. Now you can go to the bar in the Savoy. The gin and tonic will cost you about £38 in the bar in the Savoy Hotel. It does come in a crystal glass. You can take that crystal glass home with you. You don't tell them you're going to take it home, but you do. A nice souvenir from the Savoy Hotel. Now the next bridge we're about to pass beneath is Waterloo Road Bridge. Now Waterloo Road Bridge is more affectionately known here in London as the Ladies' Bridge. It is known as the Ladies' Bridge because it was built during the Second World War by the Ladies Land Army. And I think we can agree, the ladies of London made a wonderful job of building Waterloo Road Bridge. One of the very few bridges that was built on time and under budget, so definitely well done to the ladies of London. Now as we pass down through the bridge, to your right hand side we have a building with a black flashing advertisement screen. That is our National Theatre. The building that King Charles described as looking more like a nuclear power station than a National Theatre, so he's definitely not a fan of that building. Now keeping your attention to the left hand side, I'm sure he's more a fan of the building now, with the green dome and the single flag staff. That is the old Somerset House, built over 200 years ago for the Dukes and Earls of Somerset. It is now the King's College and the Courtauld Art Gallery. So the lovely Somerset House on the left hand side. Now back over to the right hand side, you'll see some of these marquees and sheds that have been set up here on the right hand side. As we were saying about the South Bank Centre, that's all the arts and craft markets and street food markets all on the right hand side, the South Bank Centre of London. Now coming back over to the left hand side, the white vessel you can see there, which is the Wellington, a former sloop of the New Zealand Navy. Now to the stern of the Wellington, the back of the Wellington, you'll see an archway there with the face of Father Thames. the Temple Arch or Temple Gate. And just beyond that, on the roadway, one either side of the road, you'll see two silver dragons. Those two silver dragons are a boundary line between two cities. We are now leaving the city of Westminster and we're now entering the city of London, the 1 square mile capital city of London, the smallest capital city in the world. Now back over to the right hand side, the red brick building with the tower, spelling the word OXO, O-X-O, but that is the OXO building. It was originally known as Stamford Wharf. It is now a shopping centre on the ground floors, apartments in the middle floors, and under the glass canopy, under the glass roof of that building, that's a very fine but a very expensive Harvey Nichols restaurant. Now to the left hand side, the building with the green sloping roof and black spinnerette in the middle, that's the old City of London School for Boys. That's where many of our ex-MPs and Prime Ministers were educated, regardless of that votes, they did say it was a good school. That's where many of our MPs and Prime Ministers were taught how to lie and cheat properly. They are very, very good at that. Staying to the left-hand side, that beautiful curved building with the columns, that's Unilever House, home of the Lever Brothers, the soap and detergent manufacturers. Now the next group of bridges we're passing beneath are the Blackfriars group of bridges. The first one here is Blackfriars Road Bridge, opened by Queen Victoria in 1869. The second bridge is the Blackfriars Railway Bridge. Now in between these two bridges, you will see freestanding red columns. These red columns are all that remain of the very first railway bridge, the Spandery Thames. It was known as the St Paul's Railway Bridge, and it carried the London, Dover and Chatham Steam Railway. Columns are remaining to this day because if they tried to remove them, they would undermine the foundations of the two bridges either side. Now as we pass down through the bridge, to your left hand side, you'll see the magnificent dome of Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece, and that is St Paul's Cathedral. St Paul's Cathedral was completed in 1710. It took 35 years to build. Now coming back over to the right hand side, the building here with the tall chimney, that's the old Bankside Power Station. Now this has been converted into the Tate Modern Art Gallery. This is the largest modern art gallery in the world. Now, me and my daughter went and visited this art gallery on Saturday, and I have to say, we just didn't understand it, I'm afraid to say. Really didn't kind of understand the modern art, and I had a few beers before I went in there. I thought that would help me understand the modern art, but no. So, have a visit and see what you think yourselves. Now this next bridge here is the Millennium Footbridge. Now the Millennium Footbridge is better known to us on the River Thames as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. Known as the Wibbly Wobbly. Sorry if I switched to the radio. Now known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge, and it's known as that because when it was opened it wobbled so violently it actually injured people, so they had to close the bridge down. Now to the right hand side, the building with the white framework, the timber framework and the thatched roof. That's the old, that's a replica of Shakespeare's Globe Playhouse Theatre. The only building in London that's been allowed to have a thatched roof since the Great Fire of 1666. Now the next bridge we're passing beneath is the Southwark Road Bridge, opened in 1921. narrowest and least used of our London road bridges.
Yavuz.
Narrows. Cel mai îngust.
And the least used.
Now, on the left-hand side, be very quickly, you'll see a seal in the water. Directly to your left-hand side, you'll see a seal in the water, folks. Can you see the seal there? I do wonder sometimes why I bother pointing anything out. Now, on the right-hand side,
What's it in Dutch?
we have the Anchor Tavern, a beautiful pub that was opened in 1615. It's a lovely pub to go and visit. I visited that one on Saturday as well with my daughter, so I had a lovely couple of beers and fish and chips in there. Very nice pub. Now, as we pass down through the Cannon Street Railway Bridge, take a look to the right-hand side, and you'll see a wooden sailing vessel in a dockway, and that there is a replica of Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind, the vessel in which he circumnavigated the globe, arriving back to England in 1580. Now, as we say, folks, that one there is a replica, done more sea miles than the original. That one has been around the world twice. This next bridge we're going to be passing beneath is the London Road Bridge. Now, London Road Bridge was opened by our late Queen in 1973. There has been 5 London road bridges to span this site. The first one was built over 2,000 years ago by the Romans. The bridge previous to this one, that's the one we took down stone by stone. It got shipped over to America, and it now spans a man-made lake, Lake Havasu, in the Arizona Desert. Now, to the right-hand side, you can see Western Europe's tallest building, and that is the Shard. Stands at just over 1,000 feet tall. Now, at the very top of the Shard, there is a viewing gallery on the 72nd floor, but it is quite expensive to go up there. So my advice to you folks is, if you take a look at this building, on the left-hand side, is the building that gets wider as it gets taller. Now, take a look at the very top of that building. Behind those glass railings, you will actually see there are people up there. Now, that is the Sky Garden and Sky Cafe. That is completely free of entry. You do not have to pay anything to go up there. All you have to do is register online. The building is number 20 Fenchurch Street, Sky Garden and Sky Cafe. Now, we have 2 vessels on the right-hand side. The largest of the vessels on the inside is the HMS Belfast. The Belfast was built in 1938 in Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. The very same shipyard that built the ill-fated Titanic. Now, Belfast saw action throughout the Second World War. She is now permanently moored here as an extension to the Imperial War Museum. We can explore all 9 decks of the Belfast from the engine room all the way up to the captain's room. We have a visiting vessel alongside. The vessel has to come up the early hours this morning. It wasn't here yesterday. And as I say, a visiting vessel alongside does look like a research ship. I'm not too sure what it's researching, but it does look like a research ship. I'll have to do a little bit of digging on this one to find out exactly what the ship does, but it definitely looks like fisheries research to me. Now, to the left-hand side, we have the Tower of London. Now, the Tower of London was started in the reign of William the Conqueror in 1078. The very earliest part of the Tower of London is the square tower in the middle, with these 4 roofs. and a single gravestone, what's known as the White Tower or the Norman's Cape. Now, the Tower of London has been many themes in its long history. It is most famously known as the place of imprisonment, torture and execution. Today is where the Crown Jewels are on display, and they are guarded by the Golden Wardens, or as we know, the Beefeaters at the Tower. Now, if you take a look on the corner of the White Tower, you will see the red running concrete that are cascading down the side of the White Tower. Now, this is part of the red running concrete that have been placed all around the tower grounds. That is part of an art installation to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the UK in Europe. Very well worked. Now the next bridge we're about to pass beneath is Tower Road Bridge. Now Tower Road Bridge is opened in 1894. Today is Tower Road Bridge's birthday. Happy birthday, Tower Road Bridge, 131 years young. Now, Tower Road Bridge is a movable bridge. The central part is just on beneath the four bascles. These bascles raise up like a double sided drawbridge to allow larger vessels, such as the two you've just seen back there in the Port of London, in and out of the Port of London. Each of these bascles weighs 1,100 tonnes. Now they can be raised to a near vertical position in just over 90 seconds. It is now a working museum. You can explore Tower Road Bridge, the Victorian engine rooms, and all the machinery of the bridge. So very well worth a visit. And as I say, at the birthday of Tower Bridge today, 30th of June 1894, the bridge was officially opened. So we're going to turn the vessel around now and make our way alongside at Butler's Wharf here for our first stop. Now, any passengers going to Greenwich, Greenwich will be our next stop. So, any passengers wishing to return back to Westminster? Anyone wishing to return back to Westminster? This vessel, once it departs here, does not return back to Westminster. We go on to Greenwich. So, if you have a Greenwich ticket, you can remain on board the vessel. Greenwich will be our next stop. If you wish to return back to Westminster, you must leave us here, join the incoming boat. There'll be another boat that will come up the River Thames, and that will pick you up and take you back to Westminster. There is ticket agents on the pier who will give you any information you will need, and they will also make sure that you are in the right queues as well. So, as I say, Butler's Wharf here is the next stop. Greenwich is after this stop. Now, as we have said about the commentaries, we are not professional tour guides on these boats. We're only members of the crew. If I opened it just a tiny bit and they had to jump the gap, I think that would make the marathon a lot more enjoyable to watch. There we go. Now you'll see to the left hand side St Catherine's Docks. St Catherine's Docks was originally opened in 1826, a high security dock. That's where some of the more expensive cargoes came into London, like tea, gold, silver, ivory and expensive perfumes. Today the cargo ships outgrew the size of the docks back in the 60s, and it was turned into a luxury yachting marina. So there is some very luxury boats inside of St Catherine's Docks. So the area that we have just departed on the right hand side, Butler's Wharf. Now Butler's Wharf was originally a tea warehouse, and this is where ships like the Cuddy Sark brought their chests of tea clippings up to. You'll see the Cuddy Sark downstream at Greenwich. As you can see, Butler's Wharf has now been converted into luxury riverside apartments. And along the ground floor of Butler's Wharf there are restaurants and bars, so some lovely places to eat and drink in Butler's Wharf. Now, keeping your attention to the right hand side, we have a muddy creek that comes out into the river, and this is St Saviour's Dock or Dockhead in Bermondsey. Now this is where Charles Dickens set many a scene for the novel Oliver. This is also where Disney filmed many of the scenes for the musical Oliver. Now you'll see a lot of houseboats to the left and right of us. A much cheaper way of living on birthday. She was built in 1925 in Yarmouth, known as the horse and carts of the River Thames. There used to be thousands of these traditional Thames sailing barges plying their trade. Sadly today there's only a handful left as charter vessels. Now to the left hand side you will see Oliver's Wharf. Now Oliver's Wharf was originally a tea warehouse built for a very wealthy tea merchant called George Oliver. This was one of the very first buildings to be converted into the riverside apartments back in 1972. The singer and actress Cher, she originally owned the whole top floor of Oliver's Wharf, though she did recently move away from the area because she was getting a bit sick and tired of us telling everyone where she lives. So she's now moved upstream to Chelsea Harbour, block number 4, flat number 2. If you can't hear that from me, she would not be very happy. Now you'll see the Metropolitan River Police on the left hand side, and the River Police is the oldest uniformed police service in the world. It was set up in 1798 by Patrick Calhoun and John Harriott. Set up to combat piracy that was very rife here on the River Thames. Up to 30% of all cargoes were being stolen by pirates. Now, if you take a look to your left hand side, you'll see a pub coming into view called Captain Kidd. Now, Captain Kidd is named after a pirate who was executed on the left hand side in 1701. Now, the method of execution was pretty nasty. They would lead the pirates down onto foreshore at low tide. They would chain them to a wooden spike. They would allow 3 tides to pass over the pirates' heads until they were dead. So they would basically drown them on the foreshore. They would then get the body in a barrel of tar. They would then hang it in a steel cage on the river wall for a whole year as a warning to any would-be pirate. So a pretty nasty way to go. Now back over to the right hand side, the church spire you can see there. That's St Mary's at Rotherhithe. Buried in the grounds of that church is Captain Christopher Jones. He was the captain and part owner of the pilgrim ship, the Mayflower. Take a look to the right hand side, you'll see a pub coming into view called the Mayflower. Take a look at the weather vane of that pub. It's a small bronze model of the ship itself, the Mayflower. The Mayflower sets out from Rotherhithe in 1620, carrying the pilgrim fathers to the new lands we now know as America. Now to your left hand side you'll see New Crane Wharf and Metropolitan Wharf. Now a lot of people do ask me what the word wharf actually means, W-H-A-R-F, and this does stand for warehouse at riverfront. That's what a wharf is, a warehouse at riverfront. Now keeping your attention to the left hand side, you'll see another white painted pub, and that is the Prospect of Whitby. That pub on the left-hand side is the oldest registered pub on the banks of the Thames. That pub was built in 1520. When that pub first opened its doors, King Henry VIII was the King of England. Now staying to the left-hand side, we have a building that we come into view very shortly on the left-hand side. It's a grey coloured building, a blue roof, and there is sometimes a red helicopter on the roof of that building. Now you'll see it just coming into view directly now to your left-hand side. Now that building, the red helicopter is up there. Now that building is the Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel. Whitechapel is where Jack the Ripper murders took place in 1888. The red helicopter that you can see on top of the building, that is a London Air Ambulance. That's where the London Air Ambulance runs from. Royal London Hospital at Whitechapel. Now the red brick buildings, you can see on the left hand side, kind of look a little bit like Lego at a lounge. These buildings have been built in this style to give every resident a unique view. Basically it puts more value onto property prices. Now the buildings have been built on a site called Free Trade Wharf. Free Trade Wharf gets its name from the days of the Plague of London, 1665. Now many foreign seafarers would not sail this far up the River Thames in fear of catching the plague and taking it back to their own lands. Now the only people who were brave enough to bring food and supplies in for the starving Londoners were the Dutch. For their bravery, they were awarded a charter on that land. They allowed them to trade free of charge, and this is how the area became known as Free Trade Wharf. And this is also where we believe we get the saying of Dutch courage as well. Now to the left hand side we have Limehouse Marina. Limehouse Marina is where you have a small enough boat or a barge. You can enter into Limehouse Marina and you can travel on the inland waterways, the canal systems of this country. There's over 2,000 miles of canals in this country. You can go as far north as places like Leeds, Wolverhampton, Birmingham and Liverpool. You can also get to the west of the country, to Wales and Bristol as well. All accessible through Limehouse Marina on the left hand side. Now staying to the left hand side, you'll see a white painted pub with the word at the top saying grapes. You'll see there is 2 wooden balconies and a set of steps leading down to the river. Now the grapes on the left hand side was opened in 1583. It is owned by the actor and performer Sir Ian McKellen. That's his pub on the left hand side. Now staying to the left hand side we have the Canary Wharf development coming into view. Canary Wharf has been built on the sites of the West India, East India and Millwall docks. This dock system on the left hand side was the busiest dock system in the world, all dug out by hand. As you can see now, it has turned into a financial district. All the major banks and financial institutions have all moved down here on the left hand side. The tallest of the towers, and the first tower they built on the left hand side, was number 1 Canada Square. That's the tower there with the pyramid-shaped roof and the white flashing lights. Now this is a very, very modern city. There is lots to see, lots to do in Canary Wharf. Some lovely bars, restaurants, shopping centres. There is also the Museum of Docklands, which is a free museum, and that tells you about the working history of the docks on the left-hand side. So Museum of Docklands. So if you take a look to the left and right of us at the moment, folks, you'll see lots of luxury riverside apartments at the moment. So not very much we can tell you about these apartments, apart from they are very nice. They are very expensive and we'll never be able to afford them. So we're going to give you here's a bit of a rest for the next few minutes. And then when we get round the next corner, folks, we'll tell you about the area of Greenwich and the times of your returning boats. So thank you very much for your kind attention so far, and we'll speak to you again as we get round the next corner.